All right, everybody, welcome in, Happy New Year, and welcome to a brand new webinar, the first of the year from TOA. And we have some exciting new products. Joining me today, we have Ian Weingold. We also have Jim McGinnis and Jonathon Ferry from Key Digital. So today's gonna be a very exciting one. And we're gonna be introducing you guys to a brand new collaboration with TOA and Key Digital, and an exciting new visual product, introducing new technology that two of us already had, and we're collaborating to bring you guys the best of both worlds. So let's get started here. We are calling the new project LeCAMbio, and we'll get into that in a moment on what that actually is. But basically, we're taking one of our products in collaboration with Key Digital's products. For us, it's going to be Lenubio, which many of you guys are familiar with, and their KD-CAM or USB camera with a control interface where both of these devices actually communicate as one individual or centralized communications platform for conference room situations, and the list goes on and on. So we'll be discussing those with these three gentlemen in just a moment. So again, guys, if you don't know me, my name is Eric Huber. I am a technical editor here at TOA Electronics. We're going to basically hear from our panelists by discussion format. It's going to be very relaxed, very open. We ask that you guys save your questions till the end. So please, I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot of questions about what we're doing here. You can use the chat to actually fill those in. And then at the end of this, we'll go through this. And then, yeah, so let's bring in the panelists. Let's introduce these guys. So first off, we have Ian Weingold from Florida. Ian, how you doing?
Very good. Good to see you, Eric.
There's Ian. We also have Jim McGinnis in the NJ office with myself. Jim, how you doing?
I'm all right. We're gearing up here. That's what we're doing.
All right, cool. And then we have a brand new guy who I'm excited to work with going forward, Jonathon Ferry from Key Digital. Jonathon, how you doing?
Hey, doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Really excited to be here with you all today.
Cool. And Jonathon, just give us a quick background on yourself, since you are new here and a lot of people don't know who you are, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I've been with Key Digital for 14 years now. So I got a good amount of tenure there. And I'm not an engineer by trade, but I just studied under Mike Sinberg, who's the owner of our company. He's the gentleman, the engineer who created DVD. He created Philips, high definition, the ATSC signal for Philips back in the mid 1980s. And really just, started learning all the tech I can by rewriting his white papers, because Mike comes from Russia, about 40 years ago, came to the US with his family. So I started just digesting things and spitting them back out in ways that I could understand. And that's how eventually I evolved into product training at Key Digital, tech support, system design, and after continuing to move up, currently VP of product education and experience. So thinking a lot about the integrators, what their experience is like working with the product during the design stages, and thinking a lot about the end users, because we have a lot of software at Key Digital as well. It's not just a hardware company. So that's kind of what it's like in a nutshell there for me.
Awesome, Jonathan. Good stuff. And guys, just to give you a quick visual of what we're actually talking about when it comes to both products, I'll start off with the the camera solution, which you guys can see currently. So this is the KD-CAMUSB PVT camera, awesome camera solution from Key Digital. And then I'll show you guys our solution, which of course is the Lenubio. I'll just pull that up real quick for you guys. Bear with me. It should be on this screen. Yes. So we are calling it LeCAMbio, as you can see. And this solution here, you see the camera on top of the screen, as well as the Lenubio below it. And this is how it's going to look. This is a typical setup in a conference room, very clean. And the key thing here is that they're going to be communicating seamlessly together off an iPad, correct, Jonathan? That's going to be your control interface or the control solution for the end user?
Yeah, that's correct. They could come in to the conference room, and just like any other conference room where you have a touch screen to configure the room, turn on the room, for example, and turn it off, you come in and you press start meeting. It'll activate the camera, it'll turn on the display, and it'll at that time it begins listening to the beam searing status from the Lenubio. And I really love that graphic. I love the, the three-dimensional, the two arrays, if you will, because it describes it perfectly. The Lenubio has 7 mic array. Is that right, gentlemen?
8.
It's 8.
Excellent. So so an 8 mic array, and it tells us where the speaker is speaking from using an XY axis. And then what happens is the installer is going to do create presets at each of those chairs, for example, in a conference room. And they're going to be able to, based on the XY axis, we kind of create a series of, if it's within this range, call preset 1. If it's within that range, call preset 2. And so it'll steer the PTZ calling those presets of the camera. So it's tough in the AV industry, right? Especially for us, we want to get into the behind the scenes. I know I suffer from this anyhow of, how do we paint this picture just showing the technology that's for the end user to see, right? And so that kind of sci-fi laser array there was a nice touch from our graphics team.
I love it. Love it. All right, let's start off with our feature product of this collaboration, which is going to be Lenubio. And then Jim, let's start off with you. Jim, just based on Lenubio, what are some of the key features that we're looking at with the unit?
Well, I mean, we're offering an all-in-one solution so that you don't have to set up mics and amplifiers and that type of thing in a room. So it's a soundbar concept, fits nicely under the TV display, as you showed earlier. 8 microphone array. There are 6 speakers inside the bar. So on either end, you have 2 full range speakers and a tweeter. So you get quite a bit of sound out of the thing. We have a number of LEDs behind the grill. They can be set up to be on or off, for visual feedback of levels or direction or what's going on. But the basic concept is that this thing is going to track what's going on in the room. So the basic layout is for a 20 by 20 room, which you can then define more accurately within the software. And I shouldn't say really software, in the web access, because it's got its own web browser. So you can go in there and set the various parameters of the room. You can tell the machine how quickly to, attack a particular sound that it hears, that type of thing. It has noise cancellation. It has anti-echo type of application built in, AEC. So there are quite a few features built in. Now, of course, a lot of web conferencing systems have echo cancellation built in. So you'll choose whether you want to use from our side or from the web conferencing tool, as we don't like to cascade them. But we offer them because you need to offer them in case what you're connected to doesn't have it. That would present a problem. We also have the ability to do dry contact closures on the box so that you can get certain functionalities from simple button control or from contact closures that are offered by third-party controllers, things of that nature. We have different presets that you can call. You can store various presets as additional ones, depending on what the room is being used for, but you can have any two available at one time. So those are some of the basic features, and it's, out of the box, put it on the wall, it works. And then from there, you can fine tune it.
Exactly. And what's missing? An excellent video solution from TOA that we don't, that we couldn't bring to market as quick as we possibly could, but we did find a partner, and that's where Jonathon Ferry comes in, and Key Digital's amazing products. And we spit out that information where then they can translate it to their PTZ camera and give us excellent video footage where these two can collaborate. So Jonathon, getting back to you, as Jim just explained, the TOA product, or Lenubio, or our product, what are some of the key features of the KD-CAMUSB camera? Just explain to us, the basics of how this device works and how these two devices will communicate.
Sure. If you don't mind throwing that tab up of the camera.
Oh, yeah,
if it's still there, appreciate it. Because I think that, there's a lot of options for PTZ cameras these days. We wanted to just take a simple approach that could be very cost effective. And so on the back there, you see the USB connectivity, and you see the RS-232 and the power, and that's it. And it's not, some other cameras have USB, RS-232, Visca, which is like a little DIN connector. They have IP for RTSP streams and an HDMI output and all these things. And they could be very great, but, on the manufacturing side, we all know that how often it is that people say, look, I would buy so much more of this product if it was just streamlined a little, right? And so that's kind of the approach here with the CAMUSB. It's a high quality 1080p video, 10 times optical zoom. So that's the real high quality zoom that sometimes you see folks with the other type of zoom going on, and it just doesn't quite look natural. Well, it's 10 times optical zoom. It does come with a remote, as you see there, that's got that nice ergonomic grip. The RS-232 control, very cool. It responds to our own commands for that, but then it also responds to Visca control as well. So if anybody has a series of cameras and they have like a joystick for controlling their cameras, this is compatible with that as well. It is ultimately just we designed it for these kind of webcam applications, conferencing applications, and it ended up being very, very timely for us because we released it in the middle part of 2019, right before COVID kind of hit in early part of 2020 in US and North America anyhow. So it's been a very, very popular product for us, and we try to make it as user-friendly as possible. I'll throw in a few other details that are kind of specific to this product, which is, and you might even see it if you zoom down a little more. Here we are. We have a software that you could download from the Windows Store, and it's coming soon to, I believe it's called iTunes, but even for the Mac computers,
yeah.
Right? They still use iTunes on the Mac computer.
It's still there, but it's not as popular.
Okay, because I know it's for the iPad, but an iPhone. But I digress. What this does for you is it's like a preview and control. So if you're using it, the camera for any kind of capture applications, this is the way you could do it. You see, you got your presets on the right, and further down even your PTZ control. Of course, those could all be made totally invisible unless you hover over in those specific sections of the screen. And it even does another really cool thing, which is we have lower thirds text overlay. That could be, here you are, you could kind of choose where it's at, or you could even just import a PNG image so that you have something a little more, modern versus just kind of like, two texts, same font and that sort of thing. So there you go. There's your example.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we even also allow a compact control panel, so that you know, if you're using this for Zoom or whatever, you can just have this tucked away on the side of your desktop and control the camera that way. So a lot of thought process going into the how it's going to be used, the integrator's experience, the user's experience, and without complicating it too much. You know, it is a USB 2.0 camera, which, you know, has its pros and its cons. You know, the USB 3.0, obviously you could get some great resolution, some great high bandwidth content there, but the USB 2.0 is, I guess I would say right now, easier to work with in general. You could go longer distances with just the USB cable. And we even have some designs on the LeCAMbio page that shows use of our USB 2.0 extender. So it's just easier to work with right there. You know, it's our first camera, so we didn't want to go too crazy with some of the connectivity.
Cool. Thank you, Jonathan, for that. Excellent stuff. Ian, we did not forget about you. Let's get over to you on a question. Ian, have you seen anything like this currently on the market?
No, nothing quite like this. You know, the difference here is that the PTZ is being completely created from those XY axis points that the Lenubio is spitting out, and that the design engineers at Key Digital were able to grab hold of and then turn that into a range of presets that the camera knows exactly where to go to. So there are certainly cameras out there that have got tracking capability, but you're going to pay a lot more for that functionality. And most folks are going to want to have a nice audio solution in their conference room or their training room, or their Zoom room, Teams meetings. So if you're going to have a great solution with beam tracking capability, and then you can grab a hold of all of that information and then direct the camera to follow suit, then you have a perfect solution at a much better price.
Excellent. Ian, do you have some footage of LeCAMbio in action at InfoComm?
Right, at InfoComm, you know, we displayed a lot of different solutions, but probably the most exciting corner of the booth was the Cambio, which of course is the 8-beam microphone solution. Yeah. And we've embedded that technology into Lenubio. So transitioning folks from understanding exactly what Cambio does, bringing them over to Lenubio and giving them a preview of exactly how the LeCAMbio solution can then work is pretty great. Yeah, hang on one second and I'll share my screen here.
Yeah, please.
And we'll show you a quick, it's only about 30 seconds. So bear with me 1 second. Hi, Ian Weigel here with TOA Electronics at InfoComm 2021. And we're showing our AM-CF1 Lenubio soundbar. It's working on the same technology that we discussed on our AM1, where we've got 8-element beam tracking array. But for a conferencing room application, we have additional speakers added in, a USB hub, additional audio outputs, and the same tracking information. It can be used by folks like Key Digital here, who are now turning this into a tracking system by following our beam array. We hope you come take a closer look at AM-CF1. You might find a home with it in your conference room. So there you go. That was a real quick preview of what we showed at InfoComm. It was very exciting. A lot of people really enjoyed understanding the application, seeing it more in a real-time application.
Excellent. And Ian, besides a typical conferencing scenario in a corporate environment, any other solutions or applications where you could potentially see this being used?
Sure, you know, really anywhere where a camera or microphone is going to be utilized. I think of an educational training situation where you may have almost a form of lecture capture, except you're giving the instructor the ability to actually walk around the room, walk from the whiteboard to the blackboard, writing down notes, moving back over towards their lectern and having that camera track. So whether you're doing instructional, you're doing a Zoom room, meeting room, you're doing some sort of a simple green screen type of presentation, where again, you want to be free to roam around a particular area, having the ability to have a high resolution PTZ camera automatically track and do it on a tighter budget opens up a world of opportunities.
Excellent. Jim, getting back to the basics of Lenubio and what's actually happening there in terms of how these two products are communicating, and Jonathon, maybe you can chime in. That bridge or that access point, there is another device involved, correct?
Right. So Key Digital has the KD-CX800, which is the little brains behind the system, and it interfaces through an Ethernet connection to the Ethernet connection of Lenubio, because it's sitting on a network, and then the RS-232 control that causes the pan and zoom for the KD-USB cam then is transmitted from the 800 over to the camera itself. So the system is basically Lenubio sends out the data to the controller, controller tells the camera where to go, and all of that is run on the iPad of choice that the client will use in the room. Jonathon, you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, sure. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff there, right? You know, if it's okay, I'll even do a screen share as well.
Yes, Jonathon, please.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Let's see. So I'll go back to this graphic here, right? The one we had shown once before, and it essentially shows where Lenubio in green is the array is collecting who is speaking, where are they coming from, right? And then the camera points afterward. Well, kind of the first step you'd want to do there is know where the seats are going to be. You take your seat and then you move the camera to you know, just using the basic remote. Oh, here we are. That works a little better, doesn't it? And you create those presets, preset 1, preset 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay. And we note the beam steering information from Lenubio at that time, either in the web UI, I believe that's there, or in the Compass GUI as well, if you already have that up and running. Okay, so so you're essentially taking note. When I'm sitting in seat number 1, here was the X and Y. When I'm sitting in seat 2, here was the X and Y, etc. And then what we do, let me head over to here, where we have so here's an example, right? So if we wanted to create 3 presets out of a room, in the Compass control side, I'll zoom in on this. It's basically a series of if statements. You know, if the beam steering status Y axis, which is distance from the microphone, is less than 36 inches. In other words, somebody's maybe walking past the Lenubio at this point, right? We don't want the Lenubio to move, so it's a quit event, okay? If the beam steering status X value is less than -18, so this is -19, -20, etc., then they're calling preset number 1. If it's greater than -18 but less than 18, so this is, you know, -17 to +17, preset 2, and anything greater than 18 is preset 3. So you have to know, and this is all described in the document, what's the module manual, which I will show right here. When you search at Key Digital products, bidirectional partner modules, here underneath the Compass control section, and you could type in TOA, or you could browse all of our different modules there for our Compass Control Pro system. And we see the Lenubio AMCF1, and we see the manual, which describes that. And if that seems like a lot to you, we actually include in the file itself, when you download this module, we do include sample projects for you to begin with. One that's more of a conference room, like a longer table, and another that is more of a huddle space where the table is facing the wall of the display and the Lenubio and the camera. And this page that we've been visiting, you can find it right here at keydigital.org, or keydigital.com will direct you there. And we see the LeCAMbio conferencing system. It's a specialized solution. And what that means for us is that, there's a lot of automation involved there. And we have a full description, of course, of the system. But as I scroll down here, here's this other video that's kind of a little goofy. Maybe we'll show this one also. If I can make one request of the video DJ. But before we do that, wonderful. So we also show here, for example, some various system options. System number one, just called the good system, right? So this is just the necessary components. You have your camera, you have the CX800, which Jim alluded to a moment ago. It's what sends the RS-232 commands. You have your Lenubio, and you have the iPad, as Compass Control Pro runs on iOS devices. And it does require a license as well. So this is, the user comes in, they press the button here, if I could maybe zoom in, which says start meeting. Oh, that didn't work out too well. Let me zoom back out. Sorry for anyone who didn't take any nausea medicine before the webinar here. So they press the start meeting button, the camera turns on, and it begins collecting that beam steering information from the Lenubio, and it'll begin calling the presets. Now, the brain is technically the iPad, actually. The driver lives there, but it gives the information to the CX800 to then send the command for the various presets. And again, you've got your USB cable, so that in a bring your own device type situation in the conference room, training room, as Ian had mentioned as well. You just connect the USB cable, and then we have one of our standard HDMI cables at Key Digital. We make all sorts of HDMI devices as well, extenders, cables, etc., as you'll see more of. And this is our 16-foot model here. So now we can scroll on down to system number two, better. This adds only one thing. It's our XUSB 2, USB 2.0 extender. Folks love it, using it with cameras, for example. If they need to locate that camera, let's say a house of worship type application, they want to locate that camera up on the, high up on the wall mounted there. This is a way to get you more than that 5 meters maximum distance, 16.5 feet or so. That 5 meter distance maximum, so that you could run the wiring back down to the operator's booth, for example. And so this just takes, it has 2 ports, as you see, 2. And so this takes the Lenubio USB feed and the KD-CAMUSB USB feed. And now we can extend it up to 50 meters, 168 feet. System 3 is here, where we add a little more technical AV components, HDMI extension over HD-based with one of our wall plates. This is a 3-gang wall plate that even has CEC control, so you could turn on your monitor with the press of a button, for example, and we could begin the system that way. And not only does that wall plate let the user with their bring your own device laptop plug in on various formats, HDMI, USB-C, DisplayPort, but you can also, there's a USB layer there. So basically they could plug in the HDMI, for example, to be a presenter, or if they're doing a conference call, they connect that USB as well. And that's similar, that's a consolidated feed of the camera and Lenubio coming into the computer there. And then system 4, best number 2, is basically if you have a larger, let's say, executive boardroom type situation, we have a series of presentation switchers at Key Digital. That wall plate can marry into the presentation switcher, out of the presentation switcher, once again, HD-based T to our receive extender, where it has basically this is not only AV switching, but it's a USB connectivity hub for all of these USB devices. And you can have additional in-rack sources like perhaps an Apple TV, cable box, etc. for the room. So these are your kits, if you will. And we, so you would go through there. Now the question one person even came up was, who do I purchase this through? Now I know, hey, here's kind of what I need. I see additional options. And for that, we do have the what is called the step-by-step guide, because, Key Digital dealers may not be as familiar with TOA. TOA dealers might not be as familiar with Key Digital. So step one, choosing the kit, just like we said before. Step two, it takes us right there, right? Placing the order. So I'll skip ahead here. This is just a review of those same systems. And
yeah, Jonathan, maybe you can link that in the chat as well.
Oh yeah, great idea. Will do.
Super helpful. Absolutely.
Okay. And here's how you purchase your Key Digital products. Here's our contact info. Okay. If I didn't zoom in anymore, I'm sure my sales colleagues would be a little upset with me. So I'll go ahead and zoom in there. And then on the very next page, we have the TOA as well. And that's a live link there where you can see these sales representatives. And I'm sure some of the audience even knows we have a good amount of mutual rep firms and distributors that are representing Key Digital and TOA, and has really helped to this synergy here. So we're real happy about that, as well as international distribution and purchasing options. Then you get into some of the other steps about, okay, Jonathan showed me those if statements. I kind of get it. Maybe I have a programmer on staff. Key Digital, we actually, if you wanted to program it, here's where you would begin. But we also have a network of recommended compass control programmers that would, you could subcontract, you could hire for the position or for this project to make it real easy on you, make sure that it's a success for you, a good experience for you, and a great success for your customer. And then fast forward through some of the training. We have, hey, here's what you need to do when you're installing the camera. Okay, quick setup guide, operation manual. Sorry, I guess I'm giving the long story here. Here's the CX800 and how that's configured, the IP address, etc. RS-232 connection into the camera. Okay, how you install the Lenubio. So it really, truly is all here. And I'll say, I consulted with Jim and some of the technical folks at TOA. So we try to cover all the bases, and then it eventually brings you to the programming here, where just like what we walked through before. So, I'm sure this video is going to be available for viewing in the future, but we make the guide so that it could all be very easy for the folks. Before I show the video, do you guys want to steal the microphone away from me so I'm not monopolizing?
No, go ahead and run the video, Jonathan, and then we'll carry on. But excellent,
okay, cool,
excellent information.
Yeah, great. And these videos, it's right here on that page, that LeCAMbio page, because as you guys saw before, sometimes running the videos are a little choppier. But this is one when Ian, had it all set up at the booth there. This was my colleague and I at it before the show started, as evidenced by the forklift back there behind me. We had a little fun with the system. Here we go.
Now, seeing you talking with no audio doesn't make sense to me.
Is there no audio?
No audio.
No sound at the moment.
Okay.
We can grasp the concept if you can't get it going.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's go ahead then, I suppose. I'll do a little narration.
Little voiceover.
Introducing the system with a goofy face, goofy voice, saying we gave it a pet name, LeCAMbio. Yeah. My colleague calls LeCAMbio like a dog. Come here, LeCAMbio. Come here, LeCAMbio. He's now describing how we're taking the beam steering information from the Lenubio. And now I speak up and I say, hey, LeCAMbio, I thought I was your favorite. LeCAMbio,
Wayne
so
says, no,
listen
he's the
down.
favorite.
Jonathan, go away. I start walking away. And I'm pretty sure the LeCAMbio's gonna follow me. All right. So I hope I did okay there. And
Yeah.
okay, wonderful, wonderful. Let me go ahead and stop the share. And that kind of gives the in-depth. Now, there was one other question that, as the one who kind of knows a little more about the Compass programming side, there's a question of, you know, what if they rearrange the room and they want to change the presets? Well, the in-depth answer is most likely you're going to need to adjust your Compass control programming. Okay, I don't want to set any false expectations yet. If it is just a matter of, hey, you have 5 presets and you need to change preset 1, you could change those cameras, your presets. Your users can even change those presets using the camera. But I think that, yeah, you know, that could create some issues. So again, just to give the proper expectations for those that are more along the integration side, because remember, we're using the beam steering status. So I could say, yeah, there's a new preset 1, but we're still listening for a specific direction from Lenubio. So unless
And Jonathan, you'd want to do the same thing within Lenubio, right? We're going to preset our beam array depending on the size of both width and depth of a particular room. So if you go from a 10-foot by 12-foot room into a 15-foot by 9-foot room, we're going to want to change the way the beam steering array works within that room. Now, we have the ability to save 2 separate presets on board, so we can simply do a quick recall, which should also be a function that you guys can pull in as well. And of course, we can store a whole lot of other presets off of Lenubio, bring them in off of a drive and reconfigure that. So whatever the XY axis points are for any given room, you just go through that process once again of reassigning them to your presets. Sounds like it's pretty straightforward.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So sorry, I looked a little too far into the crystal ball there at some of the question. My mistake.
It's all good. Ian, since you've been in person, you've been showing us off at some of the trade shows, correct? Or a trade show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely. I set it up, operated it, configured it, and demonstrated it during the InfoComm. That's correct. And Jim has gotten his hands quite deep into it as well. I think now, Jim, we're setting this up in our own demonstration room.
Right, we're starting to do that. One of the things I was just going to do is a quick share so that people could see some of the settings within Lenubio, because this one is the one that's in our office here, and it's live, so you can set your ranges, etc., depending on.
So this is referencing the room itself, the width and the length of a given room.
That's right. So you can adjust how that beam steer is going to go in the room, what it's going to be, you know, keying on, and then you have sensitivity levels, low, medium, and high. Your steering mode, which is auto, and then there's also fixed. So if you do fixed, you can change and tell the machine where to look for the sound, right? And then you can also, you know, angle it one way or another, that type of thing. So there's a lot of control. Typically, people are using it in auto mode, so that way it does everything, but you can fix it if you have certain requirements within the system. And of course, you can save that all as a preset. Here's the AEC that I mentioned before. You can turn it on and off. You have noise level settings, and then also mic gains as well. And then noise cancellation. We've now updated this a little bit and giving you more range on the noise cancellation with the latest versions. So those are all things that have been updated. And of course, we can do inches and centimeters.
You know, what's interesting there, Jim, is one of the reasons I think people wonder, why would you want to not cover a portion of a room? And I'll say one application that we have both for Cambio and Lenubio are courtroom applications.
Sure.
Well, if off to one side of the room, you've got a stenographer typing away, you may want to sort of mask that side of the room while the Lenubio or Cambio microphone may still pick up the ambient sound, at least the microphone's not going to try to constantly track over as it picks up that sound there.
Right. So I mean, like maybe the courtroom is set up where the judge, et cetera, is over by where it says X1 here, and the main area of pickup may be off to one side. So now you can tell the system to do just that, pick up over on the one side. You know, it's a microphone like anything else. It can pick up sounds all over, but it's really keying on anything that's in the orange. And anything outside the orange is greatly reduced as far as what the system does and for pickup. And
Now,
of
this
course,
is just
you
a
could change it to fixed mode as well.
This is purely a forward-facing microphone.
Yep.
So, you know, if you wanted to do some kind of 360-degree pickup, for instance, you might be able to then add an Cambio as an additional microphone into this, picking up the other half of the room.
That's correct. Now we just added some feature to this. Let me see if I can get to it, which is in our setting under control. And we now have control for speaker output assignment for codec and aux input. So the thing would be here is that since you have auxiliary input on this box, you don't want necessarily whatever's coming in on that aux to come out the local speaker. You just want it to become part of the system. So now we have a way to do that by turning aux input on or off, basically the direction of where it's going. Do you want it to come out the local speaker or not? So this is a new feature that we have on the system. And I think before it was shown, but you know, these are the connections that we have in the back, right? So Jonathon had shown that in one of his clips, but this is a little bigger picture, I think, that you can see easier. So you can see contact controls, you have your auxiliary ins and outs, codec in and out, and then on the opposite end of the box, you have all your digital control with USB. We have two USB connections there as a hub, so that's very convenient. That's how I have.
Jim, can you double check that share? We're not seeing that image.
Oh, you're not?
Oh, I'm seeing it.
Oh, you know why? I think it's because I didn't do the desktop. So let me just redo that again. I apologize. So do this, and there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So I apologize. It wasn't on the desktop. So here you see the contact closures again, in and out. What I was going over, we have the hub over on the right side, which is how we're using the KD-CAM just as a convenience. So you don't have to run long cables. You can have a short cable right into the back of the unit. This is USB 3 compatible, so you shouldn't have any problems. You know, your Ethernet, your power, your USB connection, all in a simple spot.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys. Well, excellent solutions. We're excited, Jonathon. We're very excited to be working with you on this. Just coming together and being able to provide the best of both worlds, from an audio solution from us, from TOA, obviously, and an excellent control and a video solution from Key Digital. We're very excited. This is a very visualized and exciting product that we're bringing to you guys publicly. So US dealers and reps and integrators now have a full solution for conferencing that's very scalable as well. As Jonathon showed, there are many ways you can wire this thing up. And Jonathon, that was an excellent guide that you showed there in terms of connectivity options. And yeah, you're ready to go. So you're ready to go.
The other really interesting thing, and it's maybe another webinar we could consider, Compass Control also supports the 9000 M2 series mixer amplifiers. So their control solutions are really quite broad, right? It's not limited just to this one product. They support TOA via RS-232 and IP connectivity and communication on a number of our products.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, that was, I know there was some modules before that we wrote, and then the 9000 M2, if you don't mind me just telling another little short story. You know, I forget where it came from, but somebody.
Oh, I know, I can tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me,
Yes.
please.
So one of our reps down in the southern area belonged to a country club, and they needed to get new audio into the system. So I designed a system for them, and it worked great. And they wanted to take it to the next level. Oh, wait a minute, they're a Key Digital rep as well. So they brought in the Key Digital stuff and needed a little hand with getting it set up. So then the gentleman's name was Carl, and he introduced me to you, John. And from there, we've been rolling with it.
That's right.
Basically ended up making a module in collaboration with our 9000 system, which I think.
Come on, guys, we're going to call them out by name. That is CCOM, one of the best reps out there.
Hey.
Yeah.
My favorite guys.
Great folks there. Jim, fantastic memory. And, you know, and then, so from that, and we're even doing a great ski lodge installation up in Maine right now with compass control, Key Digital AV over IP, the TOA 9000 M2 series. And so Jim and I, of course, the most New Jersey thing that you could ever do, we did a handoff of the 9000 M2 in the parking lot of the TikTok Diner in Clifton, New Jersey. And then, you know, we're looking for kind of like what you said there, Eric, what you had alluded to before, that, you know, you know that you'd like to add an additional layer of for your product. Now, you know, there's various ways to go about that, but having a partnership in place, having the hardware at Key Digital and the software, the camera and the compass control. And Jim introduced me to the Lenubio, and it's just so perfect, so timely with all of the USB connectivity. It's perfect for bring your own device rooms, and that's really what we're about. So, so yeah, just, you know, leveraging the beam steering status, having the driver written by our engineers, and then having the full integration there, you know, it just makes things so powerful. And, you know, and some companies will say, oh, I'm going to sell camera now, I'm going to sell blinds and curtains now, and you have to buy it. Or other companies, they want to integrate with the folks who have the other strengths, so that it's 100%, you know, a solid system through and through, relying on the expertise of the various manufacturers, like what we're covering here on the audio, video, and control side.
Yep, perfect.
Super exciting, super duper exciting. So guys, yeah, like Jonathan said, we're going in the right direction. We want to offer you guys the simplest and easiest solutions from two of the best names out there. We have TOA and Key Digital coming together and providing you guys with an excellent, seamless solution, giving you all the tools you need to be able to get up and running, as Jonathan showed, as well as sales channels, which I'm sure Ian can also assist with. And if you guys have any questions regarding anything we didn't cover, let us know. But let's see if there are any questions that we missed in the chat before we get going here. Under the Hood by Ed Wolf, we did discuss a lot of that, as Jonathan and Jim touched on, I believed. Let me just make sure I'm not missing any questions here. If you guys see questions that I missed, please chime in. But I think we're pretty good. Somebody did mention, yeah.
Yeah, there was one there for cable links on USB, and I wanted to just to show something on that real quick. Up on our website, under our FAQ section, I pinned a little quick thing up here to help people along with USB 3 and USB 2, even back to 1.1. But these are the basic rules that you can go over here. It's a quick way to look at your distances, etc., whether you need extenders, and you know how many hops that you're allowed to do for any particular set of connections. This is general. I mean, it's written because we have Lenubio, but it pertains to anything that's USB. But I just wanted to let you know that's up there, and that's FAQ number 472.
Awesome. All right. Also, guys, well, we did have another question here to Jonathan. Don't forget Key Digital Africa. Jonathan, don't forget that.
And don't forget TOA Africa.
Or TOA Africa.
Yeah, okay. Our friends at Key Digital Africa, my colleagues at Key Digital Africa, could never forget them, of course. And great partnership there that also is representing TOA and Key Digital, our folks at Mag-Free Enterprises in the country of Kenya, reselling through the entire African continent, Key Digital. So yeah, they've been great. And we have a wonderful installation going on there that has that is doing the LeCAMbio system in executive boardroom and conference room, plus video distribution throughout the entire factory floor. And it's for a automobile manufacturer whom I'll keep nameless for now until all the paperwork is signed for the publicity and the marketing aspects. But it's a well-known manufacturer of vehicles who's going to be one of the next TOA Key Digital LeCAMbio installations.
Fantastic.
Perfect. And then also, guys, there are a bunch of links in the chat that Shauna, our marketing manager, has provided you. 9,000 products, some videos, so be sure to check that out. I think we're going to be sending you guys out a post email with all the information you need regarding LeCAMbio or any of the products in relation to compass control, vice versa. So many cool things coming out there. Also want to remind you guys is that we are bringing the webinars back. As you can see, this is our first one of the year. Second to last Wednesday of the month. We'll try to incorporate what we're building towards for the year of 2021 or 2022, excuse me. All very exciting new things. This is one of them. This is just one. We're working on a lot of things behind the scenes, as well as our podcast, which is going to be released shortly. So I'm bringing that back as well. I didn't go anywhere on that. So we're also working on pro production videos behind the scenes on any new products. Like Jim mentioned, we have the conference room LeCAMbio system getting set up. And yeah, we have a lot planned for you guys. I'm sure Jim and Ian are going to be joining me on a lot of those projects. Hopefully Jonathon will be back on some cool new things. Could be updates, who knows? But Jonathon, what a pleasure, man. Thanks so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, everybody at TOA, and thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate your time in doing this. And it's rare when people take the time up front these days to do the research and make sure they knocked it out of the park. So everybody here is putting in that front end investment to reap the back end investment.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, that'll do it. Thanks again for joining us. Whoever is viewing, if you guys have any questions, of course, even if it's for Key Digital, if you want to reach out to us, we'll direct you to the proper channels, as always. And we'll see you guys next time. Keep an eye out for emails, promotions, social media announcements. We are working hard behind the scenes.